very much. I want to sincerely appreciate every one of us again for being online and for our active participation since we started this workshop. Now, what I want us to do now, I was checking with our next presenter, and then, I actually wanted to swap the next presentation, but as it stands now, we're going to be having what has been slated according to the program. So, David Elegbede, the next presentation is titled Skills Required for Mapping Land Rights, and that's going to be taken by David Elegbede. We're sorry concerning the logistics of getting Diana to this meeting. It's a little bit challenging for now, and David is going to be coming in to do the presentation that we would like us to have in lieu of that particular presentation by Diana. So David, if you have your screen open with you, you can share it. If not, I can share it for you from this end.
Okay, thank you. I have my screen on. I hope everybody can see it. Can we all see my screen? I don't know. Yes. Someone can just respond. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. So thank you to everybody who has been able to participate in this particular wisdom workshop. I remember the last one in January, and here we are again. I will hope to do more and more of this interaction. My name is David Elegbede, and I'm the co-lead for the in-country deployment. And we'll be looking at the skills required to volunteer for mapping rights. Actually, it was supposed to be a more interactive section with Diane, but unfortunately, she could not because of some personal things she needed to quickly attend to. So I'll just move on and I'll run us through what the in-country deployment is all about and what it requires for you to be a part of it. That's too fast. Okay, so the first is to understand the Vcsp. And then this is can be defined as the movement of young.
If you could please mute yourself if you're not speaking, it would be very much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Roshan. So can be defined as the movement of young surveyors from one place to another to meet effective needs of the community, and they spend some weeks thereby applying their skills, knowledge, and experience to solve problems in land tenure security, registration, and documentation. This year, so far, we have had deployment with our partners, that's the DLTN and the cadasters, and we've been able to do some things, and some VCS have been able to play a particular role in this respect. Okay. Now, what's the deployment goal? The deployment goal is to recognize the Vcsp goals, core values, and how to improve them. Invest time, knowledge, skills to managerial surveying. Apply skills, knowledge, experience to solve land-based community problems. Use open technology and managerial skills set to solve challenges in land registration and documentation. Build professional surveying networks and teamwork to serve and help community in solving land tenure security challenges. These are a few of what are required. It is not supposed to be deployment goals, it's supposed to be some of the few requirements based on the deployment that we've had so far. And the first is your academic qualification has to be land administration or management, surveying, geoinformatics related before you can be considered. It will ease you have more understanding of what is supposed to be done when it comes to land development if you have this academic qualification. Prior experience in volunteering, probably you've been able to, it's one thing to volunteer. If you want to volunteer again, you must have a good communication skills and you must have the zeal and the willingness to volunteer. Familiarizing with certain geospatial tools, yes, as listed here, you need to have been familiarized with some of the geospatial tools, that at least some of these, and on your deployments, you get to learn some others. Then attend wisdom workshop, just like we're having today now. You've gone through a mock And the mock is actually to prepare you ahead of deployments that will be coming in the future. And so in that way, you have the opportunity to be able to understand when we roll out announcement for recruitment, you'll be speaking the same language with what the application form is requesting for. Now, proving or exhibit traits that shows alignment with VCSP values of volunteerism, curiosity, sustainability, and respect. Involvement in FIG activities, for example, through contribution to working group, organizing, or active participation in Young Surveyors Network events, or joining commission meetings. Now, the VCSP expectation from VCS when you are being deployed are as follows. We represent the VCSP through adhering to code of conduct and through displaying the VCSP value, which are the 4 that I've mentioned. Communicate with your mentor. Yes, during your deployment, you would you have a mentor who you would always have to communicate with, because what the VCSP try to achieve is work as a team, develop your skills, add knowledge, and add value to yourself, and in return, giving back to the community. Now, contributing to partners program, that is, you're also contributing, just like I mentioned, you're contributing to the community, you're also contributing to the organizing the partners. Then satisfactory and timely completion of your tasks and projects, because you have some tasks, you have updates, you have feedback, weekly feedbacks that we want to get from you. We want to know what you're doing and how the deployment is actually affecting your present moment. Now, apply their skills to solve community problems available. So there are no same challenges everywhere you go to. For every deployment, there are challenges that even we that at the VCSP core team might not have looked into. And when we get feedback, we're able to look at and help us to build more for the future. So for you also, for the VCS also, they're able to also have new challenges and possibly get, in most cases, and at all times, we know that they always have a way to solve these challenges. Our partners, the VCSP partners at the moment are GLTN and Cadastre. We've been working with them. This year, we've had deployments that has gone through them already, and next year, we're hoping for more. Key lessons, these are feedbacks from the participating VCS, that's the voluntary community surveyors who have participated in our last deployment. And part of the feedback is that they're able to learn soft skills. These soft skills are additional skills that they have never learned before, and they're able to now add to their knowledge and to what they know before. Then project management and then technical skills. Also, reflection on most valuable parts of this experience for VCS are the chance and the opportunity given to volunteer and the time found with host organizations and fellow VCS. They get to, if in a country we have deployments of 3 persons, so 3 VCS are there, they get to know each other, they meet new people, they meet new culture too when they are deployed, because in most cases they are not deployed to where they are used to. They are deployed to an environment where it's new to them. Only for this year, due to COVID, we've not been able to deploy people interchangeably to different countries. And we're hoping that with time, we'll be able to come out of the COVID and begin to deploy. But deployments that have happened in Kenya, deployments in Tanzania, we've got good feedbacks. And these are some of the feedbacks I'm reading to you. They get to meet with the host organization, and the projects they are able to handle are projects that are sometimes government projects, big projects that are able to contribute into and also learn how things are being done as regards land tenure system. It enhances their knowledge also. So here also, there's also a point where there's a chance to have a caring mentor. Yes, we evaluate every application, both for the mentee and the mentors. And when we are selecting our mentors, we want to be sure that we have a good match, and it is actually those that we need. And like Aaron was one of the mentors this year, and there are a lot of feedbacks that we've we got from both from him as a mentor and also from the mentee, of how he has been able to impact on the mentee that was attached to him. Sharing soft mapping skills and knowledge. The most valuable part was also adding on skills using STDM and Postgres, and how to make queries also. These are some of the things it tends to learn, and more of it. These are just a few that were selected for the purpose of this presentation. Now, how to get information on our next deployment. Hopefully next year we're looking at the moment, we're looking at about 10 countries for deployment, and information will be out. But how do you get to know about this information? One, you can follow the FIGYS and social media handle on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn, or you can always visit the Vcsp webpage on www.fig.net/VCSP for regular information on our deployments. I would like to leave us with this quote that says that volunteers start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you for the presentation. And at this point, I would like to bring in Claire for a few words on some of these things. And then after that, we'll go into the next presentation.
Thanks, Israel. Yeah, so David touched on most of it, and thank you, David, for whipping that together last minute with Diane not able to make it. So just for some context there, Diane is the partner of, she works with Pamoja Trust in Uganda, and they partner with Global Land Tool Network, and we've had many volunteer community surveyors deployed with Pamoja Trust. Now, one of the lessons that we learned from this year's deployments in April through to June was that they're not long enough, which is the feedback we got from the pilots. So I just want to touch on that. So initially it was 4 weeks of deployment. So a young surveyor like one of you would go in country or across borders to learn from a different context and help our partners with the implementation programs. We extended that with this new way forward to 6 weeks, and even then it's still not long enough. So what we're now looking at trying to do is have more of a rolling deployment. So we have like a second wave of young surveyors lined up to be the next load of volunteer community surveyors after the current ones have had their 6 weeks. This not only allows for more young surveyors to get your foot in the door of volunteering, but it also allows for continuity with our partners so that they have the support they need to build capacity. Yeah, so we're going to look at doing that for next year, but obviously that longer period will cost more. So we are also having to be more creative with the way that we attract funding. And use our budget wisely. Yeah, what else did you talk about? David, you covered most of it, I think. I'm happy to take any questions. I did note one thing, that with our criteria that David presented, we're not rigid on those things, but it is things that our partners have asked us to make sure that our young surveyors have. So for example, if you have a degree that's related to surveying and geomatics in the spatial industry, GIS, you know, it definitely relates. So yeah, don't be put off by these restrictions that these things. We want to have you still apply and show us what kind of interest you have and the passion you have for volunteering. The idea of the VCSP is to allow young surveyors to get a foot in the door of humanitarian surveying, which I've found in my experience is hard to get experience in because you don't have experience So it's a chicken and egg situation, and we want to make sure that more young surveyors are getting in there and able to get that experience. So we're doing our best, and I think that's my time. I'll hand it back to you, Israel.
Thank you so much, Claire.